What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. If you have not yet, please subscribe and follow on all platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, anywhere you can get your podcasts. We are available. It really helps out the show, and it is very much appreciated. Today's positive motivational message of the week is nothing changes if nothing changes. And I've said this before on the show, but this week in particular, for me at least, it seems very relevant. If there's something in your life that you're unhappy with, if you're in a situation that that's making life uncomfortable or distasteful in any way, you have a bad job, you're in a toxic relationship, you don't like where you live. Well, nothing changes if nothing changes. And you can't stand around and expect things to just change on their own. You have to be part of the change. You have to induce change. And you have to take control. If you want change, you have to be a part of it. If you want to lose weight, start working out. Start eating healthy. If you want to, if you don't like where you live, move. If you don't like where you work, change jobs. It's as simple as that. And I understand some of these things. Not all change is welcome. Not all change is comfortable. But if you want to aspire to a better, more healthy, more happy life, and you need change to happen, sometimes you have to persevere. Sometimes you have to do what's uncomfortable and what's not enjoyable in order to reach that end goal, in order to reach that change that you seek. So not all change is fun, really. But once you get past that, you reach the change that you seek. So, that is the message this week. And now we get into today's episode. It's episode 235 of Life's a Garden. Yeah! Brand new week. Thank you all for joining yet again. Appreciate all those who have been here before, the longtime listeners, and welcome to those if this is your first time. Let's go ahead and just lay it out on the table. We'll start it off on a sour note. The elephant in the room. My Denver Broncos failed. Made a huge... Pretty much the whole last episode was entirely based around football, the Broncos. And I gotta admit, I was a little bit embarrassed having that post. You know, I recorded that before the game, and then it comes out afterwards, and it's like, oh, yeah, playoffs! Like, finally we made it! And the episode comes out after we had just lost. I stand by my statements that I made in that last episode. Still very proud of the team for all their accomplishments this year. Lifelong fan, that'll never change. I said what I said before, where it's like, you know, it's a win-win in a way, because I don't hate the Bills. I really don't. I wish we would have at least showed that we deserved to be there, because now all the pundits, everybody who was like, oh, the Broncos are going to get fucking steamrolled. They're going to get destroyed by the Bills. They weren't wrong. And I hate that. I wanted us to at least prove them wrong. And even if we lost, let it be a close game. Let us look like we belong. And we didn't. And that sucks. I wasn't overly optimistic about the possibility of beating the Bills. They're a very tough team. It was on the road. Our first time in the playoffs in 9 years with a rookie quarterback. It's tough. So I wasn't overly optimistic that it would happen. Of course, I was hopeful that it could. And we were either going to shock the world or, what everybody assumed was going to happen would happen. And again, don't hate the Bills. I'm very happy to see them move on. Hopefully they can beat the Chiefs. I said while watching the Broncos game that if the Bills didn't go the distance, they're dead to me. I don't mean that. I like Josh Allen. I love Von Miller. It was sad to see him playing on the opposite team against us, but still love the guy. Just a little disappointed that, not that we didn't win. I'm just disappointed that we didn't show out. We scored the first touchdown in the first 2.5 minutes of the game. And I'm like, here I am sitting thinking, damn, okay, we're off to a hot start. This is the tone we're setting right out of the gate? Bro, bring it on. And then we didn't score anything after that. Obviously, this shows to the fact that we're still young. We have a lot of missing pieces that need to be put in place, but we took a step forward, and I am super happy and proud of that. You're not gonna make me feel bad about any of this. So it is what it is. I told you guys the Rams. I said it. Did I not say it right here on the podcast? The Rams have a possibility of upsetting the Vikings. Now, I did think the Vikings were going to pull off the win, but I knew the Rams were a tough one. I had a feeling they could upset. The Eagles beat the Packers. That felt pretty accurate. Washington over Tampa. That doesn't surprise me, but I thought Tampa was going to pull out that win, and it sucks in a way for the Broncos because now Jaden Daniels definitely looks like the better rookie quarterback. Statistically, he's not, but statistics aren't everything. It's about winning games. So now moving forward into the playoffs, which are also going to be this weekend before this podcast comes out. So this will all be afterwards. Here's what we got. Let me give some predictions for this upcoming week. Playoffs. We have Chiefs, Texans. Now, I would absolutely love, if the Texans pull off the upset. The Texans would they would gain a huge spot in my heart if they knock out the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to. I think the Chiefs are going to win. They're going to go to another AFC Championship game where hopefully they'll lose that one because the other two teams that are playing, Buffalo and Baltimore, Bills and Ravens, great game. Tough game. Whoever wins that game needs to beat the Chiefs. Now, I would prefer it to be the Bills, because I'm not a huge Ravens fan. Go Bills. Go Bills, go Bills. Whoever wins, though. If Baltimore wins, fine. Just anybody but the Chiefs. For God's sake. We have Washington versus... Is it the Eagles? Is that who they're playing? No. Washington would be playing Detroit, right? So I got Detroit. I'm taking Detroit all the way. And then the Eagles would play the Rams? Is that... Yeah, Eagles-Rams. Eagles-Rams. Which I don't think the Rams are going to pull off another upset. I'm taking Eagles. Not crazy predictions here. They're pretty basic, I think. And, but hopefully, like I said, anybody but the Chiefs. Please God, anybody but the Chiefs. And my Broncos are out. I'm hitching my wagon to the Buffalo Bills. That's who I'm pulling for now. They beat us. All good. You know, if you're going to beat us, just go the distance. Win it all. Then at least we lost to the champs, right? So that's who I'm going for. And tonight, the night that this podcast comes out, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish play in their first national championship game since 1988. Before I was born, against the Ohio State Buckeye, who I am also not a fan of. So I'm really rooting for Notre Dame. So yeah, let's hope it'll be. It's a tough one. Ohio State is no joke. They are the favorite in this game, and hopefully Notre Dame's defense just comes out swinging and gets the job done. It's going to be a great game. I'm very excited about it. We also have the return of the UFC. That is Saturday night, so anything I'm talking about it will have already happened. Just found out today, Arman Sarukian had to back out of the fight against Islam Makhachev due to injury. Sucks, dude. It sucks. This shit always happens. Luckily, they found a replacement immediately. Renato Moicano, who was already on the card, is being bumped up to fight the champ. I love Renato Moicano. I hope he can pull off the unbelievable upset. But that just takes some wind out of the sails of the fights now, because you got a last-minute opponent, who wasn't really wasn't preparing for a title fight. Man, it just sucks. So I think it's going to be a walk-away, a walk-off for Islam. I think he's going to win. We also have Merab Dvalishvili, I think is how you pronounce his name, versus Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm going for Merab. I like Merab. He beat my boy Sean O'Malley, but I'm pulling for Merab. That's what I want. And then it's a bunch of other pretty decent fights. I will say Yuri Prohaska versus Jamal Hill is a great fight. Go Yuri. I'm so sick of Jamal Hill. He's a little crybaby bitch since he got knocked out by Alex Pereira. I'm done listening to the bullshit. Go in there, Yuri, and knock his block off. That's what we're pulling for. Those are my predictions. That's who I want to win. I'll give you my honest predictions. I think it's going to be Islam, Umar, and Yuri. So 2 out of the 3 that I want to win, I have predicted to win. However, I do kind of think Umar Nurmagomedov is going to beat Merab. And that's going to be wild. Very wild. Since this is Merab's first title defense, and I think he's on like an 11-fight win streak. Crazy. I think Umar's undefeated. Gonna be fun. I'm excited to have some UFC fights back. Now, I gotta give you a dry January update. Dry January is no longer dry. I hate to tell you guys, I hate to admit this. I fucked up. No, I take that back. I didn't fuck up. I didn't fall off the wagon. I didn't slip. I made the conscious decision to drink a couple brews. I drank during the Broncos game because in that moment, I was prepared not to drink beforehand. And I was sitting there. I have my buddies with me, some guys I haven't seen in a while. Pal was there, who I mentioned last week. This is our first time we ever got to watch a Broncos game, or a Broncos playoff game together. My friend Brandon comes out, who I haven't seen in a while. Oh, and just announced that he's having a baby. Congratulations to him. So I'm sitting here. It's been 9 years since I've got to see the Broncos in the playoffs. And I'm thinking to myself, fuck it. I want to celebrate. I want to have fun. God, what if it's another 9 years? So, yeah. I made the conscious decision to break dry January and have a drink. Have a couple drinks. And that I did. And guess what? Haven't had any since. I let loose that day, and I've been back on the streak again. So it's not dry January anymore, okay? It's dry-ish January. And I'm being completely open and honest with you guys because that's what you deserve. I'm not here to just sugarcoat it and just fake it and lie. I could easily just tell you, yeah, oh yeah, going strong, man, going strong. I'm not here to do that. I'll tell you when I mess up. Because it's okay to mess up sometimes. As long as you get back on the path. You can stray away, but as long as you get back and you just don't give up on the goal, you're good. You're good. And I'll be honest with you some more. There's a good chance I might have a few brewskis this weekend. But the plan is in place. And I've been feeling great. I'm sharp as a tack up here. I'm mentally great. I'm feeling physically great. Started working out this week. I told you that was the plan. And we're going according to plan. I started a daily workout regimen. I've been working out daily. Now, I'll tell you something. One thing that sucks about getting back on the workout regimen after having not worked out for 8 months, something like that, 6 months at least, you get sore. You know, you forget what it's like to be sore, tender, fucking right here, right there. I mean, I'm kind of bruised a little bit actually. I haven't been going crazy, you know. I've been smart about it. I'm not trying to hurt myself. But it's tender. A little bit of soreness. Now, I will say this. I've been more sore than I have right now. And that is absolutely a result of not drinking. Less inflammation. Eating healthy. I've been sticking hard to the healthy eating. That helps recovery. Great sleep. You're recovering more, you know? So yes, I am sore, but I'll tell you what, I'm not as sore as I have been in the past, when I was working out very frequently. It's great. Like I said, mentally healthy, physically healthy, and internally physically healthy, externally physically healthy. I feel great. So if I have a couple brews, that's fine. As long as I stay true to more days not drinking than more days of drinking. And it's been great. You know what? One thing that's helped substitute this, one of my new favorite drinks now, is iced tea. Do I look like a tea drinker to you? I'm no fucking British bitch. I am sitting here sipping on some tea. That ain't my style. But I had to. I did it because, and it's not bad. I don't hate tea. It's just not what I would choose to drink. It tastes fine. It's not just water, because water's boring. And it's healthy. It's good. Sugar, or unsweetened iced tea, obviously. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You gotta make some changes. Things maybe you don't like. I'm not a big tea guy, but I'm drinking it. I mean, oh, by the way, let me just say this. To anybody out there who needs a swift kick in the ass when it comes to clean eating or eating a little bit healthier, I went to the store, and I knew this, by the way. This isn't like a fucking revelation, but just so you know, went to the store yesterday, and bought at least 2 weeks worth of lunch, things to eat at lunch, and probably a week's worth of dinners. Most, because it's meat. I got a lot of like steak and chicken, so that you got to eat that up in a week. You can't like overload on that shit because it'll spoil. But, I got like eggs and vegetables and things like that for lunch. Cottage cheese, things like that. Those are my lunchtime foods. And that you can spread that shit out for a while. Do you know how much cheaper it is to eat clean like that? Do you know how much 6 bananas costs? It's like $3. Do you know how much a bag of carrots costs? Like $3. You know what I mean? Like, you can get a lot of shit for incredibly cheap. Obviously, a microwave dinner or fucking frozen pizza or canned soup, all that stuff is super easy. You just pop it in the microwave, pop it in the oven. Nothing to do with it. It's done almost instantly, and you got food. Yeah, I get it. It's convenient, it's quick, it's easy, but it ain't healthy. And do you know how hard it is to cook good food for yourself? Not at all. It's super simple. It's cheaper. It's not cooking for yourself is not an issue. It's not. You don't gotta make gourmet meals. Fry up some rice, cook a couple eggs, throw a steak on the grill. Simple shit. And it makes you feel better. It's great. It's a great feeling to have made yourself a meal. It makes you feel better all around. Like you actually accomplished something. So, the food, that's a huge part of it too. It's just been eating healthy, been trying to eat clean. Obviously here and there I'll have some bread or, I'll have a slice of pizza. I'm not like completely not eating anything good. But for the most part, I've been keeping it clean. You know what I had for lunch today? I had celery sticks with peanut butter, cottage cheese, and a banana. That was my lunch today. Filled me up great. And that's like no calories. It's like, I bet in total what I ate was probably, what do you think? 300 calories, maybe? If that. And then you add on top of the fact that you're getting, some protein with the peanut butter. You're getting some veggies. You're getting some fruit. It's great. It's great. You're getting some fats with the cottage cheese. Bro, and think about this, okay? Still good on the porno. I'm free off that shit. And now I'm to the point where I haven't even felt the urge to look. It's fucking fantastic. So, your boy over here has been conserving his nut for quite some time now, and now he's chomping celery? Dude, I'm on that Peter North plan. When the time comes, and that's time comes with a C-U-M, when the time comes, that nut, my load is gonna be legendary. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Peter North celery, and you got your answer. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say about that. It's gonna be the load of legends. Okay? I'm telling you. My testosterone is through the roof, man. I am like a fucking rabid dog. Do the dog hump. Dude, it's been good though. The eating has been good. It's great. You know, I made the decision to have some beer, and it was it. You know, that was it. Didn't do any shots, nothing like that. I didn't go crazy. Just had some beers, and that was that. And it's all good, man. It's all good. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna cook up a steak with some bell peppers. How fucking awesome is that? And I'm starting to notice it in the gut. I'm starting to notice it in the waist. Dude, when I went to my doctor's appointment on December, I want to say it was December 11th? Something like that. It's December 10th, somewhere in there. I weighed 104, no, sorry, excuse me, I wish. I weighed 214 pounds. Which was 20 pounds more than last year when I weighed in. I weighed myself 2 days ago. I'm under 2 bills again. I was like 199. That's great. For it being a little over 2 months, I lost 15 pounds? Shit, bro. Incredible. So it can be done. You just got to make some changes and stick to the changes. You can't just change something for a week and be like, I did it. No. You got to stick to the plan. You got to make the changes, stick to the plan, and we'll, the end game is coming. It's on its way. It's great. It's great. It's great. All right. Oh, speaking of nuttin', I was driving down Grand Avenue the other night, and so I'm driving westbound on Grand Avenue, just over here on like 10th and Grand, something like that. There's this big highlighter yellow sign on this wall that just says in big bold letters, Vasectomy, with an arrow pointing this way, and it says underneath, no needles, no scalpel. And I'm looking, and the arrow's pointing to this little corner store in like one of those little mini mall type, like a strip mall deal. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, nothing screams professional and sanitary quite like a corner strip mall store. Where do I want to go get my vasectomy at? How about the strip mall? Right? So that's the first thing that's coming to my mind. It's like, who's going to do that? What poor soul needs a vasectomy so bad, rather than go to a doctor's office? Hey, let's go to the strip mall. Let's go next to the State Farm agency and get my nut snipped. Now, the second thing that came to my mind, no needles, no scalpel. Okay. I've never had a vasectomy myself, but those two items are kind of like the only two items needed. I've never had one, but I know how they work. I know I get it. It's pretty basic and simple. And from what I understand, with my very little knowledge of this operation, a needle and a scalpel are the only two things you need. And a solder to you gotta, I guess you gotta sew up, which is a needle. You gotta sew up the fucking vas deferens, or whatever it is. So, oh no, yeah, you clip it and then you solder it shut, right? You cut it and then you fucking make it so you can't, so no swimmers get through there? I don't remember. I've seen like diagrams of how this shit works. Because I have thought about it. But I ain't going there. I'll tell you that. That's not my first thought. So I'm like, what's the deal here? So you're not going to numb me up with a needle. And you're not going to cut me open with a clean blade. So is it one of those deals where the numbing agent is you get knocked over the head with a cartoonish size mallet, and then they use a pair of rusty scissors to cut you open? Is that what we're selling here? Like, come get your vasectomy at the strip mall next to the State Farm, and on top of that, if you don't think that this deal isn't fantastic enough, we're taking out all the sterile utensils. We're taking out all the much needed utensils that are going to make this thing a breeze. We're not going to numb you up. We're going to cut you open with a pair of fucking hedge trimmers. How are you going to successfully do this operation, which it's not even it's a quick in and out type of thing. You don't even, you're awake during it. But how are you going to do this? Also, by the way, nothing screams, yes, let's go get a vasectomy, than a giant yellow sign with an arrow pointing on it. And it's like, okay, or is this a touch-free type of vasectomy clinic? Is this like I'm gonna walk into this vasectomy clinic and be greeted by some young Asian women, and they're like, this is the non no numbing, no sharp objects near your genitalia. We're just gonna suck it out of you, right? Like, how do you get the nut out? How do you stop it from? How do you stop me from nutting? If you're not gonna cut me open, if you're not gonna numb me and cut you open, we numb you, num 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 num. We just suck it right on out. So I was baffled when I saw this sign. Because I'm like, what? And I've never seen this before. It must be brand new. I'm curious to see. Honestly, please, if you are a guy or you know a guy who goes to that location and gets a vasectomy, I need to know the details. The public deserves to know the details. So please, anybody that knows anything about that vasectomy clinic over there on Grand, let me know. Because it's killing me. My brain was just rattling when I saw that. It was crazy. Oh my god. Yeah, so... Oh man, I just can't think. Also, though, in the nutting department, did you hear about this gal, OnlyFans gal, I believe, over in England, London, whatever, Manchester, slept with 1,000 guys in 12 hours. Okay? Now, we got to go back just a little bit here, because previous to this, there was another British OnlyFans girl who slept with 100 guys in 24 hours, I believe it was. Or I think it was 100 guys in a day was the thing. Which completely reduced her to tears. She was just destroyed by this because, duh. Like, I don't think that there's 100 of anything I can do in one day that wouldn't bring me to tears. That's a lot. You're getting 100 wieners plunged up inside of you in 24 hours? That's mentally and physically draining. Now, one thing I was thinking, though, so this chick just had 100 dudes fornicate with her, and she was reduced to tears. That made me think, though. Think about all the poor girls out there. All the non-attractive girls who would beg. They would pay oodles of money just to get railed. Because they can't. They're reduced to tears because they can't get laid. This chick's crying because she got fucked by 100 guys. And there's chicks out here that would probably... They're crying that they can't get any wiener. I mean, there's some 200-pound, blue-haired, looks like a bull dyke but isn't chick out there that's like... But she claims the reason she doesn't fuck guys is because she's too she's too feminine, and she respects femininity way too much, and men are gross and men suck. But inside, she is crying out for some cock. And she's looking at this girl over here getting 100 guys, and is like, "Bitch, what are you crying about? I can't get one." Because of course you can't. Because look at you. Anyway, I digress. So this one girl does 100 guys in 24 hours. Well, can't let her just take all the infamy. We can't let her take the spotlight. So this other British OnlyFans lady says, "I'm going to up the game." In less than... I mean, she didn't even let that record sit for long at all. She couldn't let her even have a moment in the spotlight. She had to be like, "Oh, I'll one-up... I won't even just one-up you. I'll 1,000 up you." 1,000 guys in 12 hours. Now, for those of you trying to do the math, that's a guy every, I think, 40-some seconds. We'll just round it to an even number and say 40. One guy per every 40 seconds. You want to talk about physically draining? Oh, God. Could you imagine being the 1,000th guy? Like, that pussy was beat like a tenderized steak. I mean, probably couldn't even fit it. Like, it was probably just like, the old saying, shooting a fucking hot dog down a hallway. And she was probably like shaking from just like pure exhaustion. She was probably sleeping. I mean, is that even consensual at this point? She's probably just laying there sleeping, just like convulsing out of agony, what I could only assume. That's 12 hours of constant cock. Now, I don't know what it's like to take a cock in my orifice, but lady listeners out there, I can only imagine that sounds like pure hell. 12 hours? And I'm just thinking, like, yeah, imagine being the 1,000th guy. Like, I was guy number 1,000. Congratulations to me. I rule. No, you're disgusting. I mean, God, could you imagine, in the other girl situation, could you imagine being guy 100? Gross. Also, condoms were, I think condoms were optional. That's really fucking gross. I mean, could you imagine 1,000 dudes with condoms? Like, dude, okay, I didn't even think of this until just now. No chance she's staying wet that whole time. So if you got condoms and it's just rubber on road, dude, she probably smelled like a peel out. Like if somebody just skidded a fucking tire across the road. That's probably what she smelled like after that, if there was enough condoms being used, which there should have been. I mean, if you're the guy if you're a guy number 500 in line and you got 500 before you and 500 after you, the 500 after should definitely all be wrapping it up. Jeez. And I just think it's funny that it's getting all this publicity. It's like I'm a bigger whore than you. Like, hey, that girl who had 100, that whore that had 100 dudes fuck her, well, guess what? I'm a much bigger whore than her. Congratulations. Also, by the way, anybody who wants to say, well, don't slut shame them. If anybody deserves to be slut shamed, or not even slut shamed, but is the definition of a slut, it's these two bitches. And if you don't agree with that, you're what we call delusional. Textbook slut. And that's coming from a slut themselves. Trust me, I know a slut when I see one. And I ain't trust me, I'm not one to shame anybody. A normal slut. But these bitches are taking it to a whole new level. I mean, my God. And okay, and also imagine being the girl that slept with the 100 guys, and then like 2 weeks later, this chick comes around and sleeps with 1,000. Now you're yesterday's news. You don't even get to be top slut. Like, here's the silver medal. Like, nice pat on the back, good for you. Like, nice try, but this chick just completely blew you out of the water. Now you went ahead and slept with 100 guys in a day. Was reduced to tears because of how fucking grueling it was. And you're the runner-up. You're coming in second. You don't even get to be branded top whore. This other bitch does. That would suck. That would suck so bad. You did all that work and made yourself a public name, and now you're like this just public whore, and this other broad comes around and is just like, sit back, girl. Like, let me show you how it's done. Wow. I mean, my God. Hey, get those 1,000 guys down to Grand Avenue, and make sure they're all snipped before the fucking 1,000-piece fuck sesh. Jeez, man. Wow. And also, are they just standing in line? Are all these guys just like standing there naked, trying to like keep it up, keep it hard, and like, dude, you're in an assembly line of wiener, and she's just like sitting there like, next one, next. What? Ugh. Hard to even think about, to be honest with you. Monday. It is Monday the 20th here as this podcast is coming out, which means Donald Trump has officially been inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States. Inauguration day today, happened today. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if there was any shenanigans. I don't know if anything went on. I have pretty high assumption that something could go down, whether it happens in that very spot or somewhere in the vicinity, because there's going to be a shit ton of people attending this thing, including somebody I know personally. And I told her, be careful. Just keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you don't get caught up in anything wild, because the potential for tomfoolery is probably at an all-time high. Again, this is coming. I'm recording this before the inauguration, so if anything did happen, not aware of it, but I'm telling you right here, right now, it wouldn't shock me. I mean, I'm not going to speculate, but based on the way that this election cycle went, the running of the races, all that stuff, and let's not forget, the bombing outside of Trump Tower, the thing that happened in the mass shooting and killing in Bourbon Street, the drones, fuck. It's a wild time, okay? I'm just saying that. It's a wild fucking time. So, be on the lookout during the inauguration, because God knows anything is possible. But, hey, if everything goes off smoothly, it's party time, baby. It's on. The boy is back in town, and finally we get to start living again. We get to start living free again. You're welcome, everybody. I know there's plenty of you out there that are not happy about it, but trust me when I say this is for the best. God only knows if this went the other direction. I'm telling you, in my heart, I believe this is the best that we're gonna, this is the better option. And so, onward to hopefully a good 4 years here. Obviously, there's plenty of room for things to not go great, so I'm still hopeful for the best. I'm not sitting here saying it's guaranteed to be great. I'm hopeful that it'll be great, and I believe it'll be great, but nothing's guaranteed. So, I want to make sure I throw that out there so that in 4 years everybody's not like, "Hey, I told you, like fucking idiot." Hey, very possible. I could look like an idiot after all this. I know I kind of talked about it a little bit last week, the Los Angeles fires. But I got a few more things I want to say, because after a full week of more information coming out and more speculation coming out, I got a few more theories about what's going on here. So I did previously mention could just be totally natural, which is completely fair. We've seen these fires happen before, not to this devastating level. Obviously there was... I brought up the whole P. Diddy and Epstein thing, like, would they cleanse? Would they try and destroy evidence of any of that? You know, that's a pretty wild stretch of the imagination. Oh, and I also brought up, just in general, divine prophecy of like, this is Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a city of sin. It's a city of like rot with sin, I guess. So this is God, burning it down. And obviously that's just through a different type of lens that you could potentially look through. But based on a few extra things that have come out, I got a few more theories. First of all, there has been multiple sightings of people starting these fires. Now, were all of them started man-made? No proof of that. But there's also no proof that it wasn't that way. A lot of homeless people starting these fires. Now, question is, where are homeless people getting giant flamethrowers from? Where are they getting that? And I'm not saying, it's not possible that a couple of them could get their hands on something like that. But for this many of them to get their hands on them seems wild. Now, obviously, you could make the conclusion that the fire started naturally, and now these are just crazy people, the anarchists that just want to see the world burn, that are just putting extra fuel on the fire. Very possible. But when you see Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, grinning ear to ear when being interviewed about the fires, that just happened over the course of 6-7 days previous to this interview. And he's already talking about plans to rebuild and to make a bigger and better Los Angeles. A smart Los Angeles. Make everything futuristic and smart and all this shit. Something feels off. As if this was a coordinated effort. Now, call me a conspiracy theorist. I've said plenty of conspiratorial things on here before. There's two different ways to look at this, okay? When you're looking through the possibility of it being coordinated. One being, this wasn't designed by the government. This wasn't something that the government planned. But now, of course, they're taking advantage of it. Is it possible that this is another form of a terrorist attack? We've seen a couple already this year here in the United States. What's saying that these aren't just terrorist implants coordinating these burnings all across Los Angeles? Because from what I understand, these fires are being started, or they are starting, in the perfect locations in order for them to spread. And these winds that are just causing it to be worse and to spread rapidly, they're annual winds. These type of winds happen like to a point, like frequent enough that you can figure out when they're going to happen. So you could coordinate this, like burning these fires at a time when these winds come up. So that's one theory, that it could be a terrorist organization just adding mayhem and chaos and destruction to our country. And then, of course, you have the government, like Gavin Newsom, just taking advantage of a shitty situation that... But the fact that he already had a plan. There was a plan in place. I've seen the map where it shows the burning all across this specific area where there were plans in place to introduce a high-speed railroad. Well, you gotta clear land for that. Hell, Malibu? I mean, Malibu is burned to the ground. That's beachfront property. That's millions of dollars worth of property. What's to say they don't just sell it, they buy it all back for a fucking fraction of the cost because, you know, people can't rebuild because the insurance companies aren't going to pay for it. Because there was this huge debacle with State Farm that they didn't cover fire damage for hundreds of thousands of properties. And so they buy back these properties at a fraction of the cost, only to sell them to either most likely China, or you just rebuild and then make a huge fucking profit on this property that you bought with most likely taxpayer dollars. Now, I don't believe that would happen. I mean, it could, but either way, it could be a coordinated effort to destroy, buy back, and make a shitload of money. Because you're going to get people that are like, fuck it, just buy it. Like, I can't live here anymore. This is crazy. We're moving away. And then you revamp and sell beachfront property for millions of dollars. Plus, you get to implement your smart city brilliant idea. Dude, I'm telling you right now, if that motherfucker runs for president and wins, we are fucked with a capital F. You think this dude fucking cares? He's Mr. fucking super liberal who cares so much. That guy don't give a fuck. And it's so funny that there's so many left-wingers that are supporting this guy but hate millionaires. They're the same people that are like, well, the celebrities whose houses burned down, they can buy them back. They're rich. They got what they deserved. This motherfucker lives on a vineyard. He is a millionaire. He's one of the people you fucking say you hate. But he's Mr. Captain America. Yeah, fucking right. Captain Communism. Gavin Newscum. Scumbag, dude. This guy fucking sucks. There's so many instances of failure in this. The fire department failures. The reservoirs were dry. And like there was this whole bill initiative that got turned down because they wanted to save a fucking fish. I get it. I don't hate animals. I'm not cruel to the idea of protecting animals. But if it comes down to between protecting a single species of fish or human lives, I think the scale tips just slightly. And if you're the governor of a state, your job is to protect and serve the people of California. You didn't do it. You fucking failed. Your interest is more in the fish than the people. Go fuck yourself, dude. This guy sucks. Fuck, what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh! Apparently, there was a fleet of fire trucks from Oregon that they were sending down to go help battle the fires. And they stopped those fire trucks from coming into California because they didn't meet their CO2 laws. The trucks weren't equipped with the CO2, the ridiculous, by the way, CO2 laws that California has implemented on their vehicles. And so, they weren't allowed to go help fight the fires. You have a fucking natural disaster. Let's not even call it natural disaster, but you have a disaster unfolding in Los Angeles. And you're more concerned about the air pollution. Hey, the billowing smoke from the fires that are burning plastics and burning rubber and things that are emitting toxic fumes in the air already. And you're worried about fire trucks? Dude, California is the biggest shithole. I mean, we already know Wyoming is the biggest shithole. of a state. I've already made that very clear. California itself is beautiful. California itself, like the state, everything about the state. You get mountains, you get beachfront, like it's an awesome state. Beautiful weather. The government that runs California is the most ass backwards piece of shit in the United States. By the way, this is exactly the same shit that happened in Hawaii. The fires burning, and it's probably the same fucking plan to buy up all this expensive property, rebuild, and make a lot of money. They're doing the same thing. And the fact that there's like no federal help is unbelievable. I saw, it's hilariously tragic meme that said, the fire damage and this destruction in LA is too much. We need to send $1.5 billion to Ukraine immediately, which is hilarious. It's like, yeah, that's what they've been doing. Anybody remember South Carolina? Anybody remember all the damage that's been done there from the hurricane? No? You forgot? It's still fucked up. But we just move on from tragedy to tragedy, and we don't do shit about it. This is why I'm saying I can't wait till fucking Trump is in office, because clearly the current administration isn't getting it done. And you can look at what liberal policy does, not only on a national level, but bring it on down to the state level. Not even the state level. Let's bring it down to the city level. And let's see what this massive failure that this has been. Absolutely. So, when you hear me get excited about Trump coming in, now you know why. Because liberal cities, liberal states, they're falling apart. Because it's not sustainable. I don't give a fuck about your emotions. I want to be able to raise a family. I want to be able to feel safe. And I want to be able to walk down the street and not worry about a homeless guy with AIDS fucking sticking me with a knife. Is that so? I want to be able to know if I have kids that they're going to go to a great public school and they're not going to be harassed and they're not going to be taught fucking gender ideology from a transgender. The policies suck, man. And that's why your city and your state is burning to the ground. And with that, hey, we reached the end of this episode. Thank you all so very much for listening. Very much appreciated, as always. As I said in the beginning, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want some change, you gotta be a part of that change. Seek the change. Actively change things in order to make that change. It's not just gonna change overnight. You gotta make little changes in order to reach that big change sometimes. And again, not all change is fun. Not all change is enjoyable. But you got to do some things like that in order to get to that ultimate change that you're looking to make. So just remember that. And if you're looking for a vasectomy, just right up here on Grand. Sounds great. Thank you all so much one more time. And, of course, don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it. Just gotta keep on